AKAPADers, do you guys remember the Re-GEX are coming? Rejection is imminent from Maximum Press, but later to be published by Awesome Entertainment. This is what I consider to be Rob Liefeld's absolute opus. This is his maximum attempt, pun intended. This is Rob Liefeld on all cylinders and what I call his Kirby effort. Rob Liefeld throws so many giant cool ideas at you so quickly. It's no different than New Gods issue 1. It really isn't. But this is forgotten. Hey, we criticize Rob Liefeld, but we do pay our we acknowledge when it's good. And this is peak Rob Liefeld. All right, AKAPADers, welcome back to it. It's a big day today. I know we got the presidential stuff, but the Bills won and the Birds won, and they're both one step closer to the Super Bowl. This scenario is the greatest thing and the worst thing in my eyes, because I will be completely divided on which of these two teams to even to even watch. It's almost like I cannot even watch the Super Bowl. But you don't want your two teams to ever lose. So that's how I'm torn. But guys, enough of all of that. Peter A. DeLuca here. Happy MLK Day, Martin Luther King Day, Presidential Inauguration Day, all of that fun stuff. It's also Rob Liefeld Day. Guys, it's well documented where I am with Rob Liefeld. He is equally good, equally bad. I view his Robservations podcast as a desperate revisionist movement that he's trying to kickstart, that he's trying to get going, which is amazing, because if there was a movement to really put Rob Liefeld in some type of, we'll say, appropriate category of historical comic book creators, and by appropriate I mean favorable, right? His Facebook group wouldn't be so highly I mean, they cast people away in his Facebook group as quickly as anything. It's really weird. Rob Liefeld pushes back with any type of dissent, but he's also has had decades, going back to the message board days, going back to the spinner rack days, of just being controversial, trashing people, being inaccurate, wrong, and lying. I could probably do one Robservations episode a day on rebutting some of his lies. And I say that they're lies because a lot of the stuff is easily disproven. But with all of that, I grew up loving the guy. I grew up loving the Rob Liefeld energy, the Rob Liefeld character design. I even appreciated the way how when he was less attentive to Extreme Studios, to where he kept that going as a publisher, and then he folded Maximum Press into Extreme, and kept Maximum Press and Extreme going. I mean, he was a very aggressive publisher at one time, but never quite got it back. And what we're going into today is what I consider it's a near miss. Like when two airplanes almost collide. It's a near miss. This could have been Rob Liefeld's true golden age. The work that was coming out of awesome comics, awesome entertainment, truly was awesome. Rob Liefeld's entry into this was a book called Re-GEX, and I consider Re-GEX his absolute top tier work when it comes from concept, design, execution, what the idea of the series is, and the overall look. We're going to start with an ad that he ran in Spider-Man Bad Rock, which also sure got Dane Fraga hired at Marvel. I don't know what we'll do a video on that very soon. The Fraga Rob Liefeld essentially cock-blocked Dane Fraga from getting into Marvel, which is weird because he did do Marvel work, but he was almost like not taking. So anyway, that's almost the whole video. But guys, let's hit that drawing table, because this is something I consider to be the absolute height of his work. Now, some of the designs, some of the mechs he's already been outed on like ripping things one to one and not giving homage to it. But at the same time, I do love this work where we have Rob Liefeld, all imagination, all gas, no inker, and some amazing coloring. So guys, here's a little bit of an introduction to Re-GEX, what I consider to be Rob Liefeld's best work. Let's go. Here we go, guys. Good morning. Look at that beautiful Philadelphia morning sun. If I mention it in the intro, Philadelphia, PA over here. That's why we care. That's why we love the Philadelphia Eagles. We love the Phils. We love comics. We even love Rob Liefeld. I want to bring you guys up to speed of what I consider to be the phases of Rob Liefeld's career. We have Marvel Comics. So we've discussed this very issue on this channel. 1992. I consider this the revelation that Cable is cyborg up to his like hairline. This blew me away as a kid. I essentially did a video on it where we do two things with this issue. We have this another amazing Cable revelation, and then we have the slow breakdown of Sam over here, aka Cannonball, and he essentially is a mutant god. Isn't that amazing? This was a plot point that never really came to fruition, but this goes all the way. This like single moment here, single panel goes all the way into the Joe Mad era, where he fights the Guardian, also featured and profiled on this channel. So, and guys, once we hit Re-GEX, I guess I'm going to put up the blinds, but I just want to get through this. So from X-Force, we get into the Extreme comic book era, where Rob Liefeld he's just creating, he's just slinging. These were books that he put together while he was still at Marvel, and he just wanted to publish his own superheroes. And originally he called Youngblood the Executioners. Marvel flipped out. The success of these books is what created Image Comics. I know we have the Image Eye here, but the other individuals, the other founding members, there was a little bit of convincing to pull the trigger and go through with it. Rob Liefeld, as publisher, he comes out with this. He teases Supreme. This is like the first appearance of Supreme. And Supreme is later to have one of the greatest Superman archetypes or Superman proxies of all times when it's written by Alan Moore. But here's the wild thing. Supreme, regular, consistent for a solid 3 years. It's a good superhero read, and he's almost this connective tissue of all of the giant Extreme Universe, because Extreme Universe just balloons. And Supreme, he was interacting with every single character, and within his own series, he's had like multiple company-wide crossovers. They're like baby crossovers. Also, Image Comics crossover with guys like Pitt coming in and out of Supreme. So this is where, like, as publisher, Rob Liefeld evolves. Then he goes on this break, and he comes back with this style. This is almost like Rob Liefeld 3.0. 1.0 would be like his early work before this style, okay? But then he solidifies the Rob Liefeld style. But then he comes back with it being more refined. It's just refined. I think that's a fantastic definition. He comes back in with a way to communicate things to his colorist. He's got a better inker. Like, all systems are go, and Rob Liefeld, as a person of means because they have capital, but also as a publisher, he expands the company around his artwork and his style. Hugely significant. We didn't see this with Jim Lee. We didn't see this with Mark Silvestri, and we didn't see this with Todd McFarlane. But we saw it with Rob Liefeld, where they disappeared for a little bit. They went on a sabbatical. Maybe they went on a mental health break but they came back in a totally different form. So that happens, and a lot of things that Rob Liefeld, like, we're going to close these blinds, my AKAPAD. Give me 1 second here. You know, things happen in Rob Liefeld's life. Let's go through the dates. This is 1994. Rob Liefeld fails with Maximum Press. He fails with Awesome Comics. He fails with Arcade Comics. And he almost becomes like a gun for hire. The sales numbers for this very book, highly debated based on Rob Liefeld's claims. This is what I mean about lies, okay? But we go from 94 all the way up to 2020, 4 years ago. I profiled this on the channel where his drawing style, I mean, he's drawing partial pages here. These aren't even full pages. He's good with the colorist still, but the overall rendering, the movement of the camera, establishing shots, a lot of his fight scenes is a single pose. Like, we can kind of see, like, one pose, like single pose, single pose. But this is like Rob Liefeld dragging himself over the finish line, and he echoes the same style for Marvel and Deadpool, which is beyond me how Marvel, because they should have editorial standards, allows that level of work, but they do. So between all of that, here we go. As teased, this is one of the most tragic books in my eyes. I absolutely love Spider-Man Bad Rock. Love it, love it, love it. I really don't want to show it off to you guys. I just don't. But here's a good note. So as publisher, Glory, which was one of the money banks, Joe Duffy, Glory was a better read than Wonder Woman, than the proxy of Wonder Woman that she represents. The publishing was so all over the place that they had a missing issue. 16, 17, 18, 19. So they go quite some time. Filling the gap, issue 16. They don't even have a cover for it. This was a topic of the time that people don't even address now. Upcoming video on this. And yes, we will do the full run of Glory. We're doing a lot of these things in 2025. Alan Moore, Supreme, gets a lot of attention now, but at the same time, a little bit hyperbolic and overdone. Will we do this on the channel? I'm 50-50, but we see Newman, look, Newman up to 24. They got the amazing Chris Spruce on this. I always was a fan of Dark Exit. He was like a normal kid, and then he kind of goes into a dark dimension and comes back looking like this. Awesome stuff. Vangeline, again, a babe. Cash cow. Rob Liefeld is highly involved with Marvel. He's back with Marvel. Heroes Reborn, issue 6. And then he gets kicked out. He gets kicked out of Marvel after issue 6. And here we go. The rejects are coming. Rejection is imminent. This type of promo, this type of hype is completely representative and what makes some of Rob Liefeld's products so effing cool. Beyond cool, for that matter. Even at this time, in 1996, people still fell for this. But we have rejects with Maximum Press, see? Isn't that crazy? Maximum Press. He tanks Maximum Press. Still unclear, by the way. I mean, he's got that giant podcast. You think he would explain it. But he doesn't. He just tells commentators like myself that we're liars. 1998. Let's just do a little reminder. March 97. Right here. 97. December 98. Some time went by. Rob Liefeld, we see no inker, but we have his buddy Jeff Loeb. Jeff Loeb is a good collaborator with Rob Liefeld. I don't think Loeb is a good collaborator for Jim Lee. I don't think Loeb is a good collaborator with Ed McGuinness. He works very well with Rob Liefeld. Yeah, maybe Tim Sale, I guess. But he does good work. I'm just saying. But I don't think everything Jeff Loeb has touched. Moving on. Rob Liefeld, President and CEO. So Rob Liefeld's President, CEO, Story and Art. No inker. If we just to leapfrog real quick, we have to get to the back of this, and it may not be this issue, is it? I think it's this one. 1 second, my AKAPADers. Okay, rejection here. Rob Liefeld's afterwards. This is where Rob Liefeld says, "I'm not trying to rub out comic book inkers. I'm merely experimenting. I'm a publisher. And we have the technology now. We can reproduce pencils, so why not?" So there you go. Fully self-aware. Now, during this time, Thor Ryan, Amalgam Comics, Marvel DC, John Romita Jr., Thor Ryan, also no inker. A little bit of a movement within mainstream comics to experiment with no inker. This was revolutionary at the time, AKAPADers. This is Rob Liefeld breaking ground. But we have our cast of characters. And even here, I love this little landscape shot. You see, look at the silhouettes of the characters. Let me get a close-up. This guy's... I forget some of their names. Oh, here we go. Jeannie, the Dawn Child. AKAPAD. This is a part of the Jim Shooter form, and I say form because it forms the final product. If we have a book, it's issue 0, we all know who these cats are, right? We need to know who they are right away. So it's Jim Shooter, but it was very well solidified in Claremont's X-Men run. And I see so many people out there not do this. You have to tell me who these people are with descriptions. You have to do it. Here's the wild thing. So many indie creators can't do this. You can't do it. I don't know why. It just never happens in indie comics. Amazing. We have Beowulf the Immortal. We have Jeannie the Dawn Child. We have Caro the Rogue. We have Primer. And then Scarab. Okay. I almost called this guy Scarab. And just recording, I told myself as I was recording, this guy's name is not Scarab. This is Scarab. But look at, look at the armaments for the knee, all of it. So, a lot of the stuff, Genie kind of, they're coming up. Primer transforms into a mech suit. There's evidence that Rob Liefeld completely took, borrowed, stole that. I'm not going, we'll do kind of things on that in the future. But this is a little bit what I mean about things being disingenuous, because he will deny it. He denies it, and you have him too right there, and he'll deny it and block you. But yeah, the team's ready to go. So we have to fight. And then he does these I call it bubble mech, because it's just bubbly, but we can see that it's formed, it works, and we see the lightness of the pencil. It's just amazing. It really is. But we get a Rob Liefeld fight scene, and we get I love Primer here with all the cracks. But Genie here, Hot Babe, right? More bubble mech. And we get these money shots. We get Beowulf just jumping into this floating ship here, right? Hover ship. And he just shatters the glass. And look, see, that's the villain. And this is so 80s anime to me. It's, I don't know, it fits so well. But we get Scarab here, and he's got a cool raincoat. Got the gun. I mean, again, the goggles on top of the head. Rob Liefeld was inspired, and Beowulf just lops this dude's head off, and they go into this ruined city, and look how Rob Liefeld just messes with the horizon lines. I mean, it's so simple. But look, we have a street sign, I guess like New York. It's frozen. A lot of good details. And then we have Tales of Re-GEX, Origin, Scarab, and Beowulf. This is inked. John Sybil inked it. You want to say this was not just a proof of concept, but a, hey, let's do something different with this book. From my opinion, this was done from a very, very loose Rob Liefeld. The layouts are good. The movement of the fight's good. I even like how he just uses like the Rob Liefeld like shot. And I call it Rob Liefeld shot because it gives the inker an opportunity to do the Rob Liefeld line work. Right? Like the line work coming from the nose, like the wrinkles from the nose into the mouth. Just the Rob Liefeld line work. I also felt that this was Rob Liefeld. I thought this was Rob Liefeld. Yeah, we get this angel. And here we go. See, next. Dragon and Genie. Then we get Beowulf. We see Beowulf's tribe to be continued. So it's not a lot, even for like, I get it, like a 0 issue supposed to, but I mean, how do we not love this shot? For 0 issue, we don't get a lot of definitions and resolutions. Everything kind of goes into what's happening next, which is perfectly fine if a lot of what we see in 0 kind of happens in 1, which doesn't happen. 1 almost repeats the same process as 0. This is on Rob Liefeld as publisher. Some of it could be he's just making use of pages he has floating around the office. But we get some nice sketchbook work here. See, I just love the looseness of it. I really do. Just nice looking stuff. Bonus pinup. So, Joe Weems here. And we flip and we get this amazing black and white. The Joe Weems here. The texture for Scarab's armor here. And Genie's knees. Like her knee armor. This texture is not done today. This texture is absolutely amazing. And even for primer here, just look at the work. This is not done today. With or without digital. This is not done today. So let's have a look. Re-GEX, issue 1. It seems like we've toned up, we cranked up the levels. Because the Rob Liefeld pencils here are way darker. The process has gotten better. I like it though. And yeah, we get a bike chase. We have many Rob Liefeld comics now that begin with a motorcycle chase. And then we get the motorcycle transforming into a cannon, and they nuke their pursuing helicopter, which is like well drawn. Right? He figured it out. Even the design for this guy. Looks like Jinro, the Wolf Brigade. And we find out that the bike is just primer. And then they drop into the ocean, and they get involved with their Namor. This is the Namor of this universe. I mean, I love the bubbles for the borders of the panels. You don't see a lot of that today either. But look at the work, the coloring work for the bubbles. Everyone is a lasso. Isn't that crazy? And again too, look at some of that line work. I mean, the pencil. We clearly see this as pencil. I mean, the scribble for Scarab's eye patch. Really cool stuff. But hey, guess what? Scarab has a detachable arm, moving arm. And then we're back outside where Primer, now we have our two, let's just say Genie and Scarab are two main characters. They're in the ocean, in the submarine. Up above, we have Primer, amazingly colored, by the way, AKAPAD. See how we know we're in different environments by the coloring? Make sure you do that for your book. But I like the scribbly hand here. Isn't that cool? Even here, see? See how, like, jagged? He nukes everyone and then dives into the ocean right here. Now, a lot of what we see here from Primer reminds us of Die Hard version 3. I believe that's maybe highlighted a little bit on this channel because we did some issues of Youngblood, which was the premiere. And then we get naked shower shot. Why the hell not? And somehow, I guess, like, Scarab knows, like, where to come up. Like, say he comes up at, like, the pool. There's, like, a pool. But then it's also where Jeannie is showering. So, yeah, logistic proximity issues, but who cares? But we get a double shot because we get, why not? Let's just sell some comics. Let's just sell comics. Who cares? And then another shot. Let's sell some comics. But we get these, like, cool moments and these images where they're working on primer. And we get a new character. This guy, he's like the smart guy. And just trying to figure things out. And, Scarab's like, let me tell you about my past. And here we go. This is my past. Let me tell you more about my past. And I'm going to tell you guys about the evil dude that is a very cool, again, very 80s anime design ship. But here we go. And this is our villain with the Jinro, the Jinro soldier. And then we have a crossover with potentially Evangeline. But then we have what's this girl? Yeah, Tragedy Ann. Such a cool. I mean, like, this is what I'm talking about when I say imagination. Like, put the idea on paper. Who the hell cares? I mean, I love the hair. I love the coloring for the hair. There's just so much to want to do yourself when you see this. And then we're done. And the crazy thing is, there might be a Re-GEX issue 2. These had a ton of covers also. There might have been Re-GEX issue 2. And then we're done with this book. So it's like 0, 1, and 2. I think there's about 30 covers between everything. So Rob Liefeld, like, kind of was on top of a lot of stuff. Now, I get it. I don't like variant covers at all. Some of them are amazing. Some of them are worth collecting now because they're cheap. But at the time, I think I think these were well priced, $250. Like, it's a lot to ask. In the comic shop, I would just always buy the one I thought was, like, like, pun intended, the primer cover. You can't find that now. It's very confusing now. It was confusing back then, but I always tried to get the cover I thought represented the issue, period. We have action figures coming. So, and then eventually they merged with Hyperworks, with Robert Napton, right? And they become Awesome Hyperworks. And that's kind of where it gets crazy. Coven has, like, a long run with Rob Liefeld, like, as publisher. Ian Churchill's book. Jeff Loeb, good work with Ian Churchill for this. Yeah, it's a near mess. Because this really, it's like, just looking at it, you want this to continue. You want Rob Liefeld to continue this. You really do. And I don't think creatively he ever recovered from this period. At the time, I looked at this as the culmination of everything that kind of skewed wrong with Maximum Press and Extreme. And you got the sense, because to me too, like, just the ideas roll so quickly. It's very Kirby. And he was able to tap in on that. And you're thinking, like, wow, this is Rob Liefeld's, like, Kirby era. This is going to be amazing. Never quite got, because after this, he just keeps trying to reboot the Extreme stuff, like, endlessly. And we know how well that went.